Meanwhile, keeping a look at the border right now, another big departure, the Department of Homeland Security, as acting ICE Director Ron Vitello quits. He will leave tomorrow, we're told. With us now, the guy who had that job right before him, that Tom Homan was the acting ICE Director under Donald Trump. Tom, good to have you back. It looks like a purge going on there. For good reason? Do you think it's justified?
I wouldn't call it a purge. I think the president's hitting the reset button. I think he's getting discouraged about the numbers on the border. I think he's looking for changes and some changes in leadership with some fresh ideas coming in. So I'd call it a reset more than a purge. Ron Vitello has been a friend of mine for 25 years, and first I want to say respect him for his years of service in the federal government. He deserves our respect, and thank you for serving such a difficult role, along with the secretary. She took a job where half of Congress hates what she does or hates what the Trump administration is doing, and that's a tough job. So I respect and want to say thank you to both of those fine Americans.
That's very nice of you. The president's pick, this Kevin McAleenan, he is said to be a take-no-prisoners kind of guy. You had said of him that Kevin will put his foot on the gas. What did you mean by that?
Look, I worked with Kevin for the last 8-9 years. During the first surge, family surge in FY 14 and 15 under then Secretary Jay Johnson, I worked with Kevin on a daily basis on addressing the surge on the border. So Kevin knows the border issues, and he knows what needs to be done. I think he'll make controversial decisions, regardless of the controversial. I think he's going to do what he can legally to help stem the flow. I think he can hit the ground running. That's the most important thing. When the Secretary Nielsen leaves, you need someone who goes in there and can hit the ground running on the most important issue within DHS, which is a national emergency on the border. And Kevin has the history and the knowledge to address it.
Were you asked about this job?
I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Look, I've had discussions with a lot of people, and like I said, I'll go whatever the president decides in the future, but I think right now I just got to say I can't really comment on my discussions with the people at this point.
I understand, and I'm so glad you're on remote because you can't punch me. But did the president really want you to be his Homeland Secretary, or did you send out a signal early on? No.
I have not had any specific discussions on Homeland Secretary's job. Of course, like you, I have friends and people that says they're interested in me, but again, I'll cross that bridge when I get to it. I come back from retirement once to serve the president, so I've retired twice from the federal government. 3 times would be, I think, a record, but look,
it's happened. It's happened.
The truth is, I love my country, and it's hard to say no to a president who wants you to come back and serve, especially in difficult times. So I'm not saying yes or no. What I'm saying is it'd certainly be a discussion I would have, and it certainly would be a decision that would split me. Because I at the same time retired to spend more time with family. At the same time, I see what's going on the southern border, and I would do what I can to help.
The reason why I mentioned it is Stephen Miller is apparently, obviously a senior advisor to the president, was among those pushing for a shakeup and the whole Homeland staff, and your name had come up as someone who would be perfect for doing that. That's why I raised it. But what do you think of Stephen Miller and the outsized role he's playing here and looking at all this?
Well, first of all, I think Stephen Miller is a very intelligent man. I've met with Stephen Miller many, many times. He's kept his eye on the ball from day one under the Trump administration to try to secure our border. And a lot of people out there don't like Stephen Miller, but I tell you what, I respect him. I like him because he's sticking to his guns on this issue. The president has made a promise, like the 6 presidents I've worked for in the past, I'm going to secure the border. This president's actually walking the walk. So he's actually doing everything he can within the legal framework to try to secure this border. Congress isn't helping him. They haven't offered him one fix. The Ninth Circuit is constantly, issuing temporary restraining orders and everything he does, but he hasn't given up. He's going to keep changing. That's why I think you're seeing this change right now in DHS. He's hitting a reset button. He wants fresh ideas, fresh people, because he's going to secure this border, and he's going to do it, with the fine men and women in ICE and CBP and other agencies like DOD to try to secure the border. And I think Stephen Miller is President Trump's right hand on this issue.